The Series X got me back into gaming. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you. I want to make it clear this isn't a review and I'm not dunking on the PS5 or shilling the Series X, just sharing my experience with the console. Xbox Series X, what's old is new, and that's not a bad thing for me, so I'll explain. I found with last gen I got bored with the game so quickly. I migrated from the 360 to the PS4 for last gen. I loved Infamous Second Sons, but I found that all the other games that I loved were on the previous gen to that, Uncharted, Borderlands, etc. The only next gen game that I actually really enjoyed was the Resident Evil 2 remake. My PS4 was gathering dust, so I sold it after beating Resident Evil 2. A few months passed and I really had the urge to play Gears of War, and my 360 had died a long time ago. I went browsing and I found an absolute steal of a deal for an Xbox One S on a summer sale. 1TB console with all 5 Gears of War for about £220, so I had to pick it up. And this was back in 2019, so Gears 5 wasn't even that old at the time. Couldn't remember my old account details, so I started a new tag. I didn't really realise until making this video that I've actually owned every single Xbox that's ever come out, and I've only ever owned one PlayStation. I don't know why I really moved over to the PlayStation. I've never really been much of a Sony fan. Although, saying that, I probably will pick up a PS5 at some point. The Demon's Souls remake actually looks really good, and I am quite excited for the Ratchet & Clank new game. I also want to make it clear that I'm not a protective fan of Xbox. They have made a lot of mistakes. I think one of the reasons why I went to the PS4 is because of the disastrous launch of the Xbox One at E3. We all remember what happened. We all remember what was said. So when Microsoft and Xbox do make mistakes, call them out. You're not a less of a fan just because you're going to call them out. You don't have to be a diehard for everything. So when the Series X was announced a few months later, I decided why not, I'll upgrade. Like most people in 2020, the coronavirus started out fine, I guess, as I started out the year with a job until the end of October when I got let go. I had way more free time, so I started playing Gears of War 4, after blitzing Gears of 1 to 3 again. I don't have much to say about Gears of War 4, other than that it was okay at best. So then I started on Gears of War 5, and while it's an improvement, I wouldn't say it's anywhere close to the previous games, but I've already covered that in another video. So I managed to secure a launch console, and it was being delivered by a not so reliable courier here in the UK, so I was nervous. I was refreshing my delivery app constantly, looking for updates, and the day was getting pretty late. And about 3 PM it finally got delivered. I hooked it up and was about to turn it on when something popped into my head. The password to my old gamer tag I hadn't used in over 10 years. I gave it a shot and thought one last try before I'd give up, and I was in. First things first, changed my gamer tag name. Painlink542 really screams my 2007 emo days. I now have an appropriate tag, that of a 29-year-old man. Just setting up, I was ready to go. Oh yeah, I have to install the games. So I have to choose my smallest size game, Gears of War 2. Luckily I have fast internet, so 30 minutes later I was away. I know Gears 2 hasn't been optimised, but just the visual difference between Xbox One and Series X is night and day. And for such an old game, and with no stutter, you know, the odd few second freezes between chapters you get on the 360 and even Xbox One, it's not there anymore. Then I installed the big one, Gears 5. Playing it for the first time ever on the Series X was the way to go. The visuals are fantastic, don't get me wrong though. I didn't upgrade for the graphics, etc. I wanted the upgrade for the better performance. I'm one of those annoying people that has to play an FPS at the minimum of 60 frames per second. I'll always prioritise performance over visuals, and to be honest, the visuals don't even suffer that badly in performance modes anyway. I was talking to a friend about it and he asked me how I was getting on with it, and if I had any issues. I knew he was a hardcore Sony fanboy, so I knew why he was asking. But I wasn't expecting him to fly off the handle because I thought it was good. Like he was genuinely angry that I dared to say that I liked the new Xbox. Get what console you like, who cares what other people buy? I've also noticed quite a trend that's going on at the moment, well, for a few years now, that being anti-Xbox on this platform gets you a lot of views, and being pro-Sony gets you a ton of views. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bring an overall negative message to this channel. I'm going to be fair. I will call out Xbox if they do make mistakes, just as I'd expect to call out Sony if they make any mistakes if I got the PS5 at any point, which I probably will. After a couple of months of having it, I've had no issues with it at all. I'm still not used to how quiet it is when running. The only time it makes a noise is when you initially insert a disc and it runs for a short while it goes back to being silent. And the issue with the overheating seems to have been really over-exaggerated. It kicks out warm air during more graphically intense games, but nothing too bad. Microsoft, I've got to say, has made a hell of a lot of money from me in November last year. I bought over 15 games on the store in this time thanks to Black Friday sales, and now I have 29 games installed with 30 gigabytes left. I think I need a hard drive, extending my backlog even further thanks to Microsoft and the sale. Overall, I'm actually really enjoying my time with Series X and catching up on games I missed during my hiatus from gaming.
Now I know most people scoff about me having a next-gen console and only playing last-gen games, but the added performance boost for me was worth it. I would recommend the Series X for Xbox fans. Sony fanboys I highly doubt will even give it the time of day, or even give it a try at all, but hey, it's out there. The only thing that slightly disappointed me was the UI. It's the same as the Xbox One, so they went with it if it ain't broke route, but that's me just being nitpicky. It's simple and easy to navigate anyway, so I'm not too bothered about it. And I'm sure with the history of Xbox have with their UIs, it'll be upgraded at some point along the road anyway. For example, the 360, we saw quite a few UI upgrades throughout its lifespan, so I'm sure history will repeat itself. I'll really like version 2 and not the rest. What I did actually like about the if it ain't broke don't fix it was the controller. It's pretty much exactly the same from the Xbox One gen, but with a share button, and if I'm not mistaken slightly smaller. It feels great in the hand, really comfortable. Xbox do have a pattern of making great controllers anyway. People still say the 360 controller is the best controller ever made. I personally think the Xbox One controller was better than the 360's, but to each their own.
While I do only have about 4 games that are actually optimised for the Series X, you can really tell the difference. Coming from an Xbox One S, Borderlands 3 for example looked very blurry and uninteresting, but on Series X it actually looks really crystal clear. The only way I can really describe it is if you're changing glasses after a good prescription, you're getting stronger glasses but your old ones are starting to get a little bit blurry. That's kind of what I'd describe it like. You're seeing in crystal clear vision from the upgrade.
So there you have it, my thoughts on my time with the Series X. I hope this video didn't come across as too fanboy-like. That was not my intention. I just want to put my honest feedback out there, not for the views or AdSense, mainly because I don't get paid for this, but still. What do you guys think? Do you have a Series X? Are you planning on getting one? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment.